All aboard. Hello, folks. How's it going? So we're here on Munich, Augsburg this evening, and we're not. Hang on. You're leaving early. You're not supposed to. Oh no! Hold on. No. I misread the time. I misread the time. Oh, hey. Look, I couldn't have timed that better. Just. I didn't think this was going for another 20 minutes. I was going to be all disappointed about the fact that I'd timed it wrong, but it turns out I timed it perfectly. But it's a quiet old evening here in Munich at 5 to 8, give or take. Excuse me, Fraulein. I thought I'll hang out here and we'll check out the toings and toings and growings even of various train type behaviour. Not a lot. I mean, the passengers are all pretty expectant. Although, if they'd had their wits about them, they'd have got on that train that just left. There's evidently a little black dress convention going on at the moment because the ladies are all done up in rather similar attire here. You got anything due? No, not so much. I'd love to see. I'd love to see these working. Now, I mean, we're not there yet. But the actual timetable boards, those would be terrific. Anyway, this was just an opening gambit. This is not the purpose for being here. The convention's over on the other platform. You're on the wrong. Never mind. It's Gleis 7. Yeah, you might want to. Never mind. Right, let's get on with the show. Go to the old option. Lots to see there, obviously, because I spawned on foot. See, just as a bit of variety. Yeah, I know. Variety. There we go. It's one of those things. Right, good. How are we this evening? Now, the run that I've chosen is there's not a huge amount for me to do because I'm not. I was toying with the idea of turning PZB on, but I tried it. I broke it. And it wouldn't let me continue even after I turned it all back off and then back on again, and therefore I thought no, I'll just let it run and I'll have a chat with the chat, and that will be suitably good. We'll see lots of trains, and that's always quite popular on a train sim world stream. See some trains going on. So we got a 52-kilometre jaunt, and that's about the size of it. Now, I mean It's not that simple, of course. There are signals and speed limits and all of that kind of business to behave with. But I'm going to turn the exterior lights on because I feel like it. And then we'll stick the old high beams on. And then we're good to go. No, I am running with safety systems off. I apologise. I am determined at some point to crack safety systems. And you know what? I think what I might do is I might pre-record it and then hang out in the chat while I chat. Sorry, my pronunciation is awful. Enunciation either is awful. I'll hang out in the chat and talk through the learning curve. So I'll try and do a PZB learning video that is me learning PZB, and then we'll stream it and I'll discuss it at the same time. Yeah, I know it's a yellow signal. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Right, let's have a look at what we're hauling here because it's a lot. There's a lot of train going on behind me. I have tried this already. I didn't go very far because I had PZB turned on and it killed me. Right, so there we go. Look, this is what we're sporting today. Gently does it because we've got a red coming up in a kilometre and a half, and that'll be good. Is this available for PlayStation? Certainly is. This is the Munich Augsburg line. Which is available right now. Yeah. If you like your Hapag-Lloyd and your Hamburg Sud, you've come to the right place. Because that's what we're all about. I like the way that we've alternated them here. I think that's how you'd want it to be orderly. Putting a nice pattern up there. Except of course here it's all ruined. Permanently, Hapag-Lloyd decided to jump the queue a little bit. Yeah, just classic Hapag-Lloyd. Always trying to get to the front. Handbag Sud, yeah. They're just languishing there with their double piece. Good. There we go. Right. Can I pirate the game? the question you should be answering is asking yourself is, should you? And it's a legitimate question. People, people have been known to, and the downside is that it really doesn't help there be more game in the future. It actively works against there being more game in the future. So if it's the kind of thing that you go, oh, this is the kind of thing that I'd like to play more often, then contributing a little bit towards it to ensure that it can be produced a little bit more often is probably in your best interest. Alternatively, shoot yourself in the foot. Your choice. Right, there we go. You don't blame me for the German pronunciations. Actually, that was just a clumsy bit of pronunciation rather than anything else. It's because I've been going hapag and then handbag. You see, it was an easy thing. So, right, yeah. John's saving money for the Steam update. Not far now. No, I'm not going to give you any more hints than that. Other than not long to go now. It's coming along. There's still quite a lot to do, but the fundamentals are all there. There you go. Yeah, that's all I'm going to do. There's some jumpy FPS. Yeah, leaving Munich. Always get a bit of jumpy FPS leaving Munich. Once you're a bit further out, I think it's once this chunk is unloaded, it tends to run a little bit more smoothly. But of late, my FPS has been rock solid. If you can make it, I don't know actually if you can make it out or not, because for some reason my streaming software. Do you want to slow down? Just pay attention to all the things you're supposed to be paying attention. Don't put the emergency brake on. No, I beg your pardon. See, I'm reading the chat, trying to make sassy comments, and I'm not paying due care and attention to what's going on. Right, okay, right. Hold on, I'm going to try and make this window sit a little bit better. This might be a little disconcerting. There you go. Yeah, if you can make it out in the top left-hand corner of my stream, there you've got my FPS counter. Right. Do you think it's going to let us continue? No, give it a spin. Go on, Melody Maker, make some tunes. There we go. We're away. Okay, right, super. We're off and running again. It's okay. There was a momentary glitch in the matrix there. There we go. Right. That's it. No, you see, I mean, I know that in this first section, we're pursuing a passenger train, and we're going to have to stop and let him go in a minute. And that's okay. When I did this in my warm-up, I had a lovely camera angle that didn't collide with anything, that just let you see a goodly amount of bits and pieces. We'll try about there. Yeah, let's try about there. Right, ease the throttle off. We'll start coasting a little bit now, and I might even go for a dab of brake, given that we're under a kilometre. I think we'll go for the dab of brake. Actually, we've got to go through these points here, so this could be a little bit of a shaker. There you go. Just wiggle through here. Yeah, that's no problem. There you go. Can you play this now on Munich Augsburg? Yes, you can. Well, obviously you've got to go and buy Munich Augsburg, but that's the only thing really holding you back. But yes, this is available. It's on everything. It's been out for a little while. Right. And no. All right, okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. Right. And go. Shouldn't be interlocked anymore. It's because I tried to throttle up while I was braking. It wasn't keen. When will this be added? This was added, I don't know, over a year ago. 14 months ago, maybe? Something like that. In the past. This has been out for a little while. Yep. And it's good. Munich's spectacular to look at, although it is a little bit hard going on your frame rate. I mean, one of the things that is being actively worked on, but you're not going to see any results for a while, is overall improvement to performance. Our technical director is exploring all the ways in which overall performance can be improved. and it's because we've just got so much going on that you know, it's a very hungry game. But that doesn't mean that we should just go, it's a very hungry game. What can you do? You kind of go, well, we can work to make it work a little bit better. That's what you can do. So there you go. How have I been? I've been all right. It's all pretty good. How's the new creative director role going? Oh, it's good. You might even see some of the things that I'm creatively directing before too long. But other than that, it's going well. It's a fresh challenge and jolly interesting. Yeah. Okay. Right. We're just running along nicely here. 15 kilometres an hour, 400 metres to go to a red. This should work nicely. In fact, I've got time. Let's go and hang out up here where the action is. This is my red. This one. So we'll just go hang out here. We've got to wait for this passenger service to leave, and then we'll be able to get underway properly. But until it does, we can't. So we'll sit here and just wait for that to happen. How's life in DTG? DTG is a great place to work. Great place to work. Can you ask what a creative director does at DTG? Yeah, you could ask. No, so I work across everything that DTG does, and my goal is to take what we have and make it better. So it's not about changing the fundamentals. It's about making sure that what we've got is as good as it can be for the existing players, and then try and find ways and means whereby it can appeal maybe to more players, or it can just have rough edges smoothed out here and there. And there's a lot of areas that can be smoothed out just by having a clear eye look at them and just go, what if we were to do this, that and this? And I can't give you specifics at the moment, despite the fact I'm working on some specifics, but you'll see what I mean when the time comes. Better stop. Do you think it should stop there? Oh, easy peasy. Not a problem. There you go. I had myself concerned there for a moment because this is not a short train, but that's all good. Right. What does D2G make? Well, we make this, what you're looking at here. You've then got Train Sim Classic, which the recently renamed Train Sim Classic, and then you've got our fishing games as well. So Fishing Sim World and Bassmaster Pro something or other are our current fishing titles. Right, now you're interlocked again. Throttle off. Thank you. Brakes off. There you go. And off we toddle. About 40% should be enough to get us underway. Is it though? No, it's not. All right, try again. And give it large. There you go. Come on. You can do it. Go on. Come on, big lad. You can run. Go on. Let's go. I have got everything off. I accidentally hit the pantograph button. It's okay though. Everything's fine. Come on there, young'un. Let's be rolling. Have some sand. See if that helps you. There you go. That's the ticket. Right, ease it back again so we don't wheel slip, and then we'll be away. Okie dokie. Yeah, there we are. No, I didn't have to cut the stream short if I spad. No. If I spad this early in the stream, I'll start again, or I'll choose something else and go do that instead. But right now, fairly confident. Obviously, any more than that would be dangerous. What do you think of Road Maintenance Simulator? I've not seen it. Is it a real thing, or is this something you've made up that you'd like to see? Because you have my attention. What does the sand button do? So the sand button will give you a little bit of extra grip. So what was going on there is I wasn't moving because I was wheel slipping a little bit. So a bit of sand under the wheels, which is auto deployed out of the locomotive, will give you just that little bit more grip, which will then give you slightly better traction. Very useful for getting underway. Do you think the ship's turns now for the better after open letter shenanigans? Open letter shenanigans was nothing. There was no new news in there. Nothing. There was no new information. There was nothing revealed in there that we go, oh my gosh, they don't like that. No, far from it. The ship was already turning. That's the thing. But it's a ship. It does not turn quickly at all. We've made a lot of changes that are having an impact, but you're not going to see that impact for a while. And therein lies the problem. We're also, we've had a few QA members of the QA team have moved on to work at Team 17. So we're actively recruiting more QA people because we work with multiple QA teams. So we have some who are based in the studio, who are the specialists. So they are the absolute eye for detail experts. And then we outsource to do mass replication testing. So we use various companies around the world to do mass replication testing, where they'll go into testing as much as possible, and that's going to be based on the time budget that they have given to them. So if they've got 3 weeks, a month, something like that, then they'll be able to test every single timetable service under as many different circumstances as possible to make sure it works. Now, we know that the QA side of things has been a little bit hit or miss, so we've been looking to completely rejuvenate how the QA process works. And that's taken 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But it's getting there, it's getting better. And it's mostly to make sure that we're avoiding knucklehead stuff that is really, really obvious. And that means getting more feedback earlier, and certainly the new beta programs that we're rolling out slowly but slowly, they're going to help with that on the qualitative feedback as much as anything else. That catenary doesn't look quite right. The ballast is slightly the wrong shape. The fence there isn't the same as it would be in the real world. That kind of thing. That's where external testers from the community can help us iron things out. But when it comes to does it work though, that's where internal QA should really shine. And sometimes it works fine, and sometimes it's less effective. But I mean, we've never put anything out that plain and simple does not work. We've had more that work. 99% of everything that comes with it works fine. But sometimes stuff gets through. Yep. Right, okay, let's see. Would love to see rail maintenance vehicles in TSW2. I think that could be fun. I think it would. I think that the question would be, what would be the gameplay that comes along with that? I mean, having them as a scenic item is good, but surely you'd want a little bit of gameplay going alongside there as well. Why do you not have people who visit the route in real life? We do. We've started doing route visits again now. Obviously we had to take a break during the 2 years of pandemic disruption, and that wasn't helped by changes in visas to go and do stuff, and then rail companies have been reluctant about letting people back in because, especially people coming from another country, because they're concerned about, that. I think COVID's going to continue to spread and spread and spread and spread and spread. It's just we've got slightly better at treating it now. So we're moving towards. This is not the topic I wish to talk about, but I'll finish off here. It's moving towards being endemic rather than pandemic. It's going to be like the common cold before you know it. But it only takes one mutation for it to be a right swine again. Why is it so cheap all of a sudden? Why is what so cheap all of a sudden? I couldn't tell you what's so cheap or why it is, other than we routinely change the price on things. We put things into sale on a regular basis. So, yeah. I thought the open letter on the forums covered quite a lot of what the community was great. Being whoever wrote actually did a fairly decent job. It was a good summary. I take nothing away from it, but in terms of did it change anything, the changes were already underway. And the problem with changes on the scale that we're doing is it takes time for the end results to come out. Doesn't matter. And it wouldn't matter if we changed every single process we have. If you didn't see the end result in the stuff that we release, you might as well have not changed anything. So until that process is fully completed, that process is ongoing. Train Sim World 2 is £3. Where are you looking for it? It would largely depend where you go looking for it. But if you can get it for £3, I'd say if you like trains, it's worth £3 of your money, easily worth £3. No, you go for it. Try Colonel Cam, or I could. We're going a bit quick for it. 113. No, 113 is fine. You're in kilometres, you're not in miles. Oh yeah. 100 miles per hour is the fastest you can do. Right. Okay. I'm just going to wait for this next signal's clear. Yeah. And yeah. Okay. Speed limit looks fine. Right. Okay. Let's get ahead of ourselves here, and then let's go. Yes, it's too fast. So you have to go with the Superman. No, we're just at the wrong speed. Well, we can do a bit of that. That's not too bad. It's quite nice. But no, we're going too slowly to use the Superman cam, and too fast for a traditional traditional one of these. Unfortunate, but there it is. Right, let's jump in the cab. Fortunate that this one's green. Yeah. Speed limit looks good. I haven't actually applied any throttle in the last couple of miles, so there we go. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Right. Yeah. Bar wire ship's good. Yeah. Bar wire ship's good. Right, there we go. Right, let's keep rolling. Nice bit of electric freight. This is why I'm doing it, because we don't do. They said, we discuss. We have a meeting once a week. We have a half an hour call where we decide what's going to happen in the upcoming streams. The RFTV meeting, and these days they just ask me to fill in once in a while where we've got nothing else planned. Just go out and be sociable and drive something. And I said, well, we haven't done Germany recently, so I'll do Germany. And Adam said, well, Munich Augsburg's recently had its preservation crew work done. So that's another reason to do it. And I went, you know what else? I always do passengers, so I'll do a bit of German freight. Because variety is variety. And there you go. I know, it's a riveting story, I think you'll agree. But there it is. Right, 34 kilometres to go, and everything's fine. Now I realise I'm hardly pushing the speed envelope here, but I'm quite comfortable with that, because I'm half expecting to come across an adverse signal at some point and to have to hammer the brakes on. And so not pushing max speed is going to accomplish two things. One, it's going to reduce the likelihood of an adverse signal, because whatever is ahead of me will be getting further ahead of me. And secondly, it means if I do have to slow down, I'll be able to do so nice and quick. See, that's thinking. Yes, it's driving using the important muscle. Do we have any update plans for Long Island Railroad? Pretty sure Long Island Railroad's already had its preservation crew updates done. I know that there are still some grumbles about the M7 noise sounds that they make, and I know that someone said, I forget who, I think it was Adam actually, said they might have a look at it. Don't take that as gospel, but that's an Adam question. Adam was going to be joining me, but he couldn't get child minded, so he was going to join me and explain what he's been working on with Munich. So, yeah. This is the DBBR 185. I want to say, but I think it's a 186. You see, it's not giving me a hint by writing it on the logo. But it's in the description. It's in the description of the video. It tells me what I'm driving. Oh, that's nice to hear. That's nice. Yeah, and the M3. Well, yeah, and therein lies a common problem. Is sometimes what we've ended up with is actually the best we can do. Sometimes when things have fallen short, it's ended up as actually that's the best we can do, and we know that people would like it to be better. But I mean, it's a point I made in a forum post earlier on today, was that we hit strongly above our weight when it comes to the graphical fidelity, particularly of the logos. But then on the same, in the same breath, we're not the best at lighting, right? And we know we're not the best at lighting. And in the same breath, we're not the best at sound. And therefore, the fact that the trains look great, but the lighting could be better, and the sound could be better. And it's not that it's always, and it's more that it's inconsistent. I think when it comes to the look and feel of our locomotives, and an awful lot of our scenery, we do a lot better than a team our size on the budgets we work to should realistically be able to accomplish. But it just shows where our weaknesses are, and obviously we work to shore up those weaknesses. Any hints on what the new US route is? Oh, Dallas. Dallas. I mean, good effort. Well, no, not really. You just asked the question. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to reveal any sneaky peeks on a casual. I'm not going to tell you what the new US route's going to be, while in the middle of a German heavy freight Let's Play stream. Am I? That would be a very unusual place to make that announcement. So no announcements there. Yeah. Sorry. I know. It's what you want to know. But I know I'm no longer responsible for the roadmap. That's that baton has been passed, and I like what they're doing with it. I think that just announcing German route or US route is slightly odd, but my understanding is that's not supposed to be for very long. Hang on, let's make sure these passengers are awake. Obviously, this is not your train. I mean, if it was, presumably I'd be slowing down a little, but you can't be too certain. Did we see the suggestion for route teasers, as in days before the roadmap? Yes, I did, and I completely agree. By teasers, you don't mean like a teaser video. It would be an oblique screenshot that if you were to get your magnifying glass out and act like Sherlock Holmes, you'd be able to figure out what the new route is. And I completely agree with you. I think that is something that we let go that actually was really popular. So yeah, I think we should bring that back as well. I'll have a word. Could you ask me for hints about the German route? I'll be honest, no, because I don't know what the next German route is. I know there's one coming, but I don't actually know what it is. My days are filled with fish currently, and therefore I haven't kept my eye on the ball with regards to what's coming up next. I know. Usually Natalie will fill me in, but she's working on board games now, so I know it's like all of the people who used to tell me stuff when I was out of the loop are not telling me stuff. So what are doing these days at the company? That's me. What I assume the word missing from your question there is what are you doing these days? I'm helping design the evolution of the games that we've got. So that can be in, it's just coming up with kind of fresh approaches, and it's by taking a slightly different look at the way we do things now, and considering how could we make them more popular, or how could we make them more fun for the players we already have, or where are the pain points that can be eliminated to make it more satisfying for the players that we already have. The important thing is, don't wreck it for the players we already have. Instead, consider, where are the stumbling blocks that are holding us back from achieving more. Yeah. Has Nat left the company? No. Nat's still here. She's just been on holiday forever after moving to a new role. So she's now the producer on our board game licenses, which we've got. I think we've announced the game before, but I'm not going to risk it just in case we haven't. If we have announced it, someone in the chat will tell you. If we haven't announced it, then I'm not going to tell you. There you go. Yeah, I'm doing a more sophisticated role. I'm throwing ideas into meetings a lot of the time, and then I'm writing bigger ideas to try and look. So I'm spending quite a lot of my time looking 2 or 3 years into the future, rather than where we are now, particularly. And that's fun. That's a lot of fun. I keep yelling features that I know would make people very excited, and they go, yes. Frame it into something that makes sense, and so I do that. How have you guys thought about adding expansion packs? Meaning, if I'm already bored with the pack I can extend and add more stations. Oh, well, okay. Look, route expansion, we've covered that a lot, and it's a tough one. I think the simple answer is it's just not practical for us to do so. And by practical, I mean cost effective. If you assume that any route we put out is going to sell that much, right? If we were to sell an expansion on that, it would sell a slice of that much. So it's and this is a real problem, and it's a real problem because this is a comment I saw a couple of months ago, and I think I've mentioned it on stream before. Is that it's less that the first instance of a route is too short. It's only too short if it feels like there's not enough to do, or it feels like you're left wanting, right? I mean, first things first. I mean, if we were going to do longer length runs, and that could be time length or it could be distance length, you want a save game that works 100% of the time, and we're working towards that, but we don't have it yet. But the comment was, it's less that it's too short or that there isn't enough to do, because there is plenty to do in the stuff we do. We test for that. We make sure that there's plenty to do. Some are better than others, obviously, because there's always going to be some variance in there. But it's more that this is the last time we're going to visit it. And therefore, if I wanted to go one station further, I will never be able to go one station further. And that is a problem. That's a genuine problem. From a fan, from a player perspective, that's a genuine problem. And we don't have a solution to it. Because it's just not, it would not be a good idea for us to, I mean, it'd be great for players, don't get me wrong, but for us it would not be a good idea to do route extensions in that fashion. We would need to come up with a clever alternative to make sure that it works for us as well as it does for players. I mean, part of the reason that we stick out routes in the volumes that we do is to try and make sure we're appealing to different rail fan types. If you're not a fan of German freight, for example, well, that's fine. There's plenty of other things for you to choose from. If you're not a fan of US passenger rails, I know we haven't done enough of those yet. We'll have more coming, I'm sure. But you can opt out of that. You kind of go like, no, that's not something I need in my collection. That's not going to make my train sim world experience any better. So I don't need that. And what we want to do is try and increase the breadth and the range of things that we've got on offer to make sure that whatever type of rail fan you are, we've got something that takes your fancy. He can't use German safety systems. He can use them, he doesn't understand them. That's the problem, is I don't have a rich enough understanding of German safety systems to use them adequately. Part of the issue with any safety system, part of the difficulty in learning any safety system at all is knowing what you're supposed to do. And because it's a video game, there's no harm in just mashing buttons. It's not the real world, therefore just mashing buttons until it stops making the noise. That's fine, but I need a better understanding of cause and effect. And before you can learn PZB adequately, you've also got to learn to read the signals. Because, as quite a casual player, I play primarily using the on-screen HUD. Let's get some brakes on here. Maybe not that many brakes. That many brakes for now. Get me down to about 50 and I'll feel a bit more comfortable about life. No, it's a green. You're okay. You're okay. All right, brakes off. Yeah, there'll be another yellow though. Where there's one yellow, there are many yellows. That's what they say. Let's alert the passengers to my presence. Hit Q every 30 seconds and CIFA's mastered. That's true. CIFA is really easy by comparison. Because, the UI, I did not hit the emergency brake. I just didn't. That's a thing I didn't do. There is no need for us to come screaming to a halt here. No need at all. I applied a little bit of braking and then I released it before we'd come to a halt. Right, do we think we've got any momentum? We're also going downhill. I don't think that's going. You reckon I stalled it? It wouldn't be the first time. Give it about 40%. Let's have a look outside and see if we've got any action. Right. Oi, you, give me some action. There you go. That's it. It's all about patience. It's all about patience. There you go. That's the ticket. That's just overzealous in its braking. It assumed I wanted to come to a full stop, and all I wanted to do was slow down sufficiently that if there was a red signal coming up, that I wouldn't glide past it effortlessly. No. Yeah. That's it. Good. Great signal guides in the early manuals. Who has time for manuals these days? No. What it needs is either an interactive tutorial or a high quality piece of video footage. Nobody reads manuals these days. Yeah. That's not to say I don't advocate for manuals. I do advocate for manuals quite a lot. I think our manuals should be collector's items. I think there should be special edition hardback manuals that you can pick up and add to your collection. Complete with history of the trains and the routes and a full breakdown of the timetable and all the systems that you can expect to use, and a little bit of information about how it was researched and how it was actually built in the real world. All of that kind of stuff. Lots of background fan information on the different things that we offer. And if I could get them to hire 3-4 guys to do that, that'd be terrific. Yep. There we go. Manuals are king. The manuals were king. Look, your mileage is allowed to vary entirely. You can completely disagree with me on that front. But in order to reach a mass audience these days, you want video, or better still, interactive. Try and understand American signals without a guide. Try and understand them with a guide. Doesn't really help. No, signals are complicated beasts because they need to be. Now, the other thing is, I mean, if you look at the trackside goings on that we've got going on there, you know, we've got signals and they're monitored really easily. Green, that's a good thing. But was that green for me? Because it wasn't on my UI. This green is mine because that was on the UI. Good. And then we've got what I assume are mileposts going on here. Probably, could be, don't know. And that, I mean, there is a lot to absorb. And, obviously, I've chosen to make this example where there's not a huge amount of trackside information being conveyed at me. There you go. I really think you should be part of the testing team. You break stuff the way most of us do in the game. I break stuff in the way that a gamer breaks stuff. And so, yes, I am going to be playing stuff a little bit earlier because I find the things that a real player would find, and not a simulator expert. Sorry, that's not to say simulator experts aren't real players. It's more that I'll find stuff that regular knuckleheads who kind of like trains would find, rather than expert geniuses. Yes. Or if you're Matt, PowerPoint. If you're taking 2 hours to explain signalling to someone, it's too complicated. And there you go. It's what this needs is more interstitial points, right? Between firstly, the learning curve is vertical, right? Just to get up to. Get it started, get it moving, complete a run, follow the signals, stop in the right place, all of that kind of business, right? Now, it's not a huge step, but it is a step nonetheless. There is no easy slope into that. We don't offer, for example, assisted braking. You know, we don't say you should probably be slowing down now in this train to help you understand the learning curve. To help you up the learning curve, to help you understand the performance of the train that you're operating. And then, once you've got to that stage, you basically learn to drive off the UI. And that's fine, or operate off the UI, however you wish to describe it. That's fine, but we spend a long time on the scenery. This is our head of development, the head of the whole of development, is one of his personal bugbears. We spend a lot of time and effort on our scenery, on the art direction that goes into making these landscapes. And then what do we teach players to do? Look at the bottom right hand corner with an occasional glance towards the top right hand corner to see if there's you better break a bit more than that, to see if there's a signal coming up. Oh, now you change. Fine. Full release. Right, that should be all interlocks release. We should be able to get rolling again. Come on there, fella, throttle up, come on. He's doing it again. Why are you bringing me to a stop? I've eased the brakes off. This is going to be something German, isn't it? This is going to be something German that's just kind of going, no, once you put the brakes on. Is it like the katana sword? Once the katana sword has been released from its sheath, it must taste blood. Once one applies the brakes of a German train, it must come to a halt. Yeah, sounds plausible. Wait for it. Give it time. It needs to think. It needs a moment to gather itself, and then we'll start moving again. There you go. So fan 8 there is. It goes. You know, I've learned to drive with the HUD off. That's the far end, right? All safety systems on, with the HUD turned off entirely. That's where we want players to get through. But we go in jumps. The jump from 0 to making the thing move, and then the jump from there into playing with safety systems turned on, because it's not like we tell you where all the safety systems can be enabled in the first place. And then the jump from there into driving cab display only. Now, if you play zoomed out like this, CAD display is actually relatively straightforward. You see something flashing, you press the appropriate button. CIFA, for example, very easy to work with. PZB, on the other hand, learn to read the signals, and the best way to read the signals is to zoom in and look down the line. And this is the kind of stuff that I think about, is how do we get more people to move down the curve? Because this, looking at this when you're playing, is so much better, so much more rewarding. Now, I mean, we could go as simple as make the HUD customizable, right? So you choose what you have turned on and turned off. Pretty easy. You kind of go, yeah, but that's a major task. That would fall under a major project. That's 3 to 6 months worth of core team working on that, plus the UI team as well, to make sure that it works properly at all resolutions on all platforms. It's not a small task. Is it a task worth pursuing? Yes. Is it the number one task worth pursuing? There are louder problems that require those teams to work on. Yeah, right. Just start easing it. We talked about this. You've got 5 kilometers to go. What are you easing? Put your foot down, man. Come on. Throttle up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah. There we go. If you can go that far with a camera, then why not on foot? What? I missed half of that conversation, I think. If multiplayer ever becomes a thing, please add a dispatchers mode. Oh, Anthony, right there with you. I think I wouldn't even necessarily go with a full dispatchers mode. I'd do signal box operator, or the equivalent thereof, where you are tied to one station only, and you're just dispatching from that point. That would just be so much fun for a you know, I like management games, right? And so for a management game nerd like myself, that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I could get behind that immediately. Also, I'd love a. This is not something I'm pushing for, okay? It's not, but I think it's brilliant, and I think it would do rather well. Is assuming a multiplayer environment is possible, of having a shop simulator where your shop is situated on the stations that the passengers are then getting onto the trains. You know, ordering stock, selling it for too much money, all of that kind of business. WH Smith simulator. That would be terrific, and I think you could bolt on all kinds of extra experiences. The first game that I worked on in the games industry was Ultima Online, which is it's the first sort of commercially successful, massively multiplayer game, and the lead designer of that had an argument with other members of the team that where in the immortal phrase "let them bake bread" was uttered, and it's absolutely true. If you've got players, you know, this is a swords and sorcery kind of a game, right? But if you've got a bunch of players who will be happy standing by an oven, taking fake ingredients, sticking them in the oven, waiting a few seconds and bringing out a loaf of bread after that point, let them. If it makes them happy, why would you stand in their way when it's potentially additive to the game world overall? If you force everyone down the same path, not everyone's going to be happy. Why am I driving without safety systems? Go watch earlier in the stream and you'll know. Alternatively, because I don't understand PZB well enough, and therefore I'll just get tripped by it all the time. And unless I am applying myself to try and learn those safety systems, that's just disruption for the sake of disruption. Because unless you know what you're looking for, then you're going to get tripped by safety systems all the time. Right, let's get under 60. Yeah. It did seem to only get really frustrated with me when I applied all the brakes. If I don't apply all the brakes, it's not like it wasn't releasing from the brake cylinder either. It's just, I don't know. I can find ways to make it stop without safety systems. Yeah, just using the brakes seems to make it want to come to a halt. Oh, 40 coming up. All right, yeah. have a bit of break. There we go. I think it's a case of don't vex the train too much. We've got 800 metres to go. Okay, all right. Let it run at about 30. That'll be good enough for me. No, you've got 700 and change metres to go. That's all right. Just let it run. Just let it run. Let it run. Don't keep slowing down. Come on. Come on. Just a little tickle will do. Thank you. Just enough to get us to where we're going. There we are. No, it comes down to I don't have the time available to dedicate myself to learning the safety systems. It's a couple of hours a day for a week, and it'll probably be locked in. And from that point on, I'll know how to use German safety systems perfectly well. Thank you very much. Until that point, however, I don't know how to use them, and therefore it depends on my mood as to whether I want to get tripped by them all the time or not. Yes. Remember when London's Reading came out, W.H. Smith shop was at Reading Station? I recall that. Yeah, wasn't supposed to be because we hadn't asked their permission. Yeah. Is it possible to know the speed limit without the HUD? You have to learn the route. You would need to learn the route to understand the speed limits and the speed limit changes. Now, depending on where you're driving, there is trackside information given. German signals, for example, they tell you the speed limit at the moment. Some cab cars, particularly, are pretty good at telling you the track limit. US cab cars are very good at telling you the speed limit. You've also got trackside sign postage for UK-based trains. They will give you the speed limit as well. It's slightly different systems depending on where you are. Right. How do you feel confident about a good stop here? Moderately. Alright, bit of 1B. Yeah, that's having an impact. Bit of 2, bit of 3, 4, 5, 6. Right about here, that'll do nicely. Spot on. Very nice. Good. A modest amount of speeding. This bit of speeding was because I was reading the chat. Okay. This bit of speeding was fine because I was slowing down then anyway. So that's all fine. That's perfectly allowed. Good. There we go. We should get me on the first steam train preview and watch me get as confused as we will be. Oh, well, I mean, it's a bit of a sneak preview, but yes, you will. There is a lot going on with Steam. I've watched it running for a few hours now, but I haven't driven it yet. And when I drive it, anything that we're not telling the players, I'll go, we should probably tell the players that, and there'll be a conversation to be had there. Right, there we go. That's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to go back to being on foot. Because I feel like it. Let's change the weather to be rather useless. There you go. Give me some of that. Oh, no, this one here. Thank you. Yep. And a bit of this as well. Yeah. And a bunch of that. Because that's the weather that we've been having throughout April, and therefore I feel like sharing. And we'll go to Mammendorf. Yeah, I like Mammendorf. That'll do nicely. What sort of time? Oh, give me mid-afternoon. Let's just go and kick it there, and that's where we'll finish it up. So, there you go. I mean, that's the other thing. Driving without your safety systems on, pretty effortless, pretty straightforward, and therefore it lends itself towards having a conversation with people who might be watching you on the internet. Right, I will be back sooner or later with something else, with a little more. That's going to wrap it up today. We've got a mixed bag coming next week because you're not far away from getting some Steam previews coming. Proper normal Steam previews. Oh yeah, and then that should be a lot of fun. Not far away at all. I don't think next week. No. Well, the schedule will go up tomorrow, and if you're very unlucky, I'll be back on it doing another Let's Play. Thanks very much for watching today. I hope you have a pleasant remainder of your Thursday, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheerio. I now have to find the right button, which I'm not ready for at all. So just pretend like this is all part of the show deliberately.